everybody, and welcome to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3 for the first time in quite a while. Sam and I are here to welcome you to our show. It's been a crazy 5.5 months, Sam.
It certainly has. We got our last show cut off that we were going to do in the spring, our last couple of shows, but here we are back, and I'm glad to be back.
Basketball season had no end. It just stopped.
Right.
We better welcome our guest, I guess. We a fellow that's kind of familiar to our viewers of the Spartan Sports Report. Brent, Duncan, CHS Athletic Director. Have you been doing anything lately?
Lots of things, trying to get things in the right order. So just a little bit of different time, but I'm glad so far everything's moving forward, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that it can continue to move forward. So
been a most unusual time, and it changes almost day to day, doesn't it?
Well, it definitely has a moving target, and when you think you got it kind of figured out, somebody changes the rules or something happens and you got to change the rules. So yeah, can be a little trying, a little stressful.
Happy to report, though, that CHS Sports back in business.
They are. Volleyball is traveling tonight to New Pal to open up, and the girls' golf has been out and about the last week or so playing in their matches. So everybody else will gear up this night, and tomorrow night we'll start girls' soccer at home.
So girls' golf is the first of the sports, and how are they doing?
Well, I think they're doing all right. I mean, we're not setting the world on fire, but there's some improvement. And we got 6 girls playing, and we got another one that's come out now, so that's more than we've had in the last year. So Coach Rubel's coaching them. Steve took over softball, and unfortunately didn't get a season in last year, but they've been going around, and they're at Delta tonight, so we'll and I think we play Greensburg home tomorrow night. So, but I've seen some score improvement for some of the girls. It's just not sure how many of them got out all summer and played. I saw a few out on the course every now and then, but you like to see 6 or 7 of them out there as a group playing. But things happen, and people don't want to get out, and so we are where we are. So
they have a win over Richfield, don't they?
Yeah, they've won a couple. We just, so they've made some improvements over what I think the score was. So hopefully they'll continue to get better as the season progresses. So.
Right. Well, I know athletic directors around Indiana have been scratching their heads trying to get their schedules made, and it's really been difficult. I mean, we feel for you guys.
Well, you just never know, because, you could be planning on us playing Richmond on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock right now, and it's a limited amount of people who can be in our bleachers. So unfortunately, some of our fans who've happened to purchase all sport tickets right now, we got a cap in time you get the players' families in, and the cheerleaders' families, and the Spartanettes, and the band, and whoever else we let in, and the Richmond fans and their parents. And 500 tickets don't go very far, so there may not be any free sale tickets at the door come Saturday until the cap on the number of capacity people can be lifted. So. But you just don't know. I mean, Richmond could come down with a case of COVID during the football team in the next 2 days, and you're out of an opponent come Saturday afternoon. So we wouldn't be the first one, and we won't be the last one. So,
what about officiating? What about the officials? Where do they stand?
Well, so far they're good. So
okay,
I've talked to them, and they're actually coming from down around Sellersburg Saturday, so they'll be up here Saturday morning. So far, none of the officials have had to bail on us. So.
And for those that maybe are just now finding out, that game has been moved from Friday evening to Saturday.
Yeah, our game with Richmond is Friday night, but if we had the windstorm of 3 or 4 weeks ago, and unfortunately we lost one of our light poles at football, and time they've gotten through all the process of getting the insurance adjusters and everything out there, we're not in line to get the light back up yet. So it's been ordered, it's been placed. Now it's just a matter of getting the light back up. It's on the visitor side closest to the baseball field. Come crashing down. So it's been up there for as long as I remember. I've been here since '89. So unfortunately, we're going to have to kick off at 1 o'clock so we can do it in the daylight. And like I said, with the rules, time you get all of our families in that need to see their kids play, our tickets will be limited, if any. So that's unfortunate for all of our fans, because I'm sure some of them are ready to get back out there. So. But we'll hope we get to go on Saturday.
Right.
There's a lot of schools around that are scrambling all of a sudden that don't have a game. And one of the guys that's the Delta principal, good friends of mine, and their whole football team is quarantined right now, so 85 of them. So they're not going to be able to play their first week if they'll be lucky to play second. So we'll see how things go.
Okay, let's look at the schedule this week. We talked a little bit about it, but we might run it through here and bring you up to date on what's happening. And I think I probably missed some things, Brent, so jump in here.
I'll do my best.
Monday, the girls golf at Delta, volleyball, varsity and junior varsity at New Palestine. On Tuesday, girls golf, Greensburg at Connersville, Willowbrook Country Club. Girls soccer, varsity and junior varsity at Newcastle, boys tennis at Blue River. On Thursday, boys tennis, home with Batesville at the CHS courts. On Saturday, Spartan football with Richmond, 1 p.m., Spartan Stadium. And Saturday also will be the girls golf invitational, 12 noon start at Willowbrook. Cross country at Richmond at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, I know varsity will be going. What about junior JV and freshman? Do we have?
For
cross country?
No, it's just one team, but our
Okay.
Our JV football game will be Monday at Richmond if we have enough kids to still play, as long as nobody gets hurt on Saturday instead of at home on. So we've had to move that. Varsity boys soccer, do you have that on there? I think it's
Yes.
They are at Newcastle, and they do not have a JV team, so that's not going to start till 7 o'clock at night. And
Okay.
the girls are here. The girls soccer team is here, and they don't have a JV team either. So we play Triton Central on Saturday. They will have an extra half. We added a 16 cross country meet at 9 a.m. on, and you put it on there. That's a Saturday that we're going to host. The one at Richmond got postponed.
Okay.
Canceled out, so we got 5 teams coming to run with us, and Coach Arndt will take care of that Saturday morning. And Coach Bloom will have the tennis tournament going on at 9 with South Dearborn and Rushville and Lawrenceburg, and soccer will be taking place with the girls, and then I'll be doing a 14-team girls golf invitational out at the country club, and
Okay.
hopefully at 1 o'clock Trent will get the football started, and I'll try to sneak back over to get him help. And I'll sneak back over to the golf course to finish it up. So hopefully it all goes smoothly. So.
Yes, yes. Willowbrook is cooperating with the Spartans.
Yeah, we've
golf.
had a good relationship with them over
That's
the time.
good.
And the new owners are still letting us out there. And, the course is in better shape than it has been the last couple of years. Sand traps are still a little rough, but that's probably one of the last things that's on their mind right now to get straightened back out. So hopefully everything will continue to go well in all those places. So.
Tell us about the football team. We have a new coach. How many youngsters are on the team?
Well,
and so
according to
on?
him today, there's 60 and
Good.
9 coaches. Of course, it's been a struggle for Coach Jackson because we've had our football team been under quarantine, a few of them, and locked out of practice for a week when we had some coaches that came up positive, and we had to get them through the system. And we got some kids that are still in quarantine because they've been exposed to it, so we can't bring them back. So we were missing some of them still. So been a little bit of struggle to get started, but hopefully you never know with a new coach. I think the kids are excited, and I think he's excited to get out there to start putting some things together. And being off that extra week has not helped us any. So
Yes.
we may not be back to full strength until the week 3 with all of our kids. So by the time they get back from being out, they still have to get their practices in, and so we may not be till week 3 till we get everybody back in line. So.
Tough situation for a new coach coming in with school abbreviated last year and not really had any time to, or a lot of time previous to when they did start practicing to get to know the kids.
Yeah, he got to come in a little bit right before we shut everything down and talk, but then, he's not the only one in that boat. Steve Rubel was going to take over softball, and he didn't get a chance to do his, and we had just hired Stephanie Smith at the end of the last summer to do volleyball, and she had a little league ready to run, and unfortunately she didn't get a good summer with him, and Coach Harder now has been here 2 years and hadn't had a summer with our kids yet. And then we had hired a golf coach for the girls, and then she up and took a job at Richmond about 2 weeks before the season started, so Coach Rubel took over for the girls golf. So we've had some struggles with some of our young coaches that haven't been able to establish themselves with the kids. And, it's a little easier for, Coach Cooley and Coach Brown and Coach Arndt, who's been here, where they got those messages to the kids because they've been around them so much more. So we'll hopefully continue down the right path, and we'll get things moving in the right direction is the goal. So
We're probably, though, not unique in the state of Indiana.
No, I'm sure there's
probably
many.
all over the state they're talking about the same things.
Yeah, I know there's some guys that are on the board with me, and they've had their football team shut down, and then some volleyball teams are shut down, and individual kids. And I think at one time, one of the high schools had at least 180 kids they were contract tracing for exposure to COVID. So, that's a lot of your kids in your school that not necessarily athletes, just students. And knock on wood, hopefully we don't have to go through all that. So any more than we already have. So
Football coach has a lot of experience as an assistant at even university.
yeah, he graduated from East Central High School and immediately went into helping coaching with their youth program in their middle school. And he's kind of moved around, and I think his goal was to be in the college ranks, and he was a graduate assistant at University of Cincinnati for a year. And Coach Tuberville was there, and obviously he didn't pan out very well. And Fickle's there now, and when Fickle came in, he let all the graduate assistants go because he wanted to bring his own graduate assistants in. And I think he realized at that time the college life was not always the safest life. So, but he's been an assistant at East Central and at South Dearborn and Lawrenceburg, and I think he knew from the time he went to school at Northern Kentucky that he wanted to be a head football coach. So I think he's done the things correct to try to groom himself to get there. I know he coached at Pike his first job when he got his first teaching job, and so I think he's excited. But it's like every new coach, you're just trying to learn and get out in the fire,
Sure.
get your guns going, and get things headed in the right direction. So we get all of our kids back to strength, and obviously if you look at our schedule, our team from last year, we're pretty young still. We played a lot of freshmen towards the end, and some of them played significant minutes, and now those are going to be sophomores, and we don't have a lot of seniors still on the roster, so we're still going to be young. So it's still going to be a growing experience, but hopefully see some improvement, and maybe we can snake out a win or two as the season goes along, and maybe more, but that's the goal.
Well, we wish Coach Justin Jackson a long and successful career here at CHS.
Yeah, we're excited to get rolling, so hopefully come Saturday we'll be able to hopefully put some semblance of football on a team. I know when you're missing 7 to 9 of your kids that are probably going to play in some significant roles throughout there, that gives other kids opportunities to step up and try to help. So we'll see how things go.
Well, as Sam pointed out, though, it's not unique for us, and I don't probably any football team will be at full strength.
No, and unfortunately, when you're trying to rebuild and you haven't had those numbers, you don't always have the backups that are ready to step in and take those spots. So one of the reasons we didn't scrimmage last week was, we thought we were too inexperienced at certain positions, and we weren't all healthy enough to take a chance of going down there and getting somebody hurt because we're not quite ready. So that extra day of practice and that extra week will be beneficial for us. So.
He comes from some pretty good programs, though.
Yeah, he's been around.
The experience he's had. Of course, we see those teams in conference play year in and year out. And,
his dad coached for Ballard when he was at East Central, so he's been around some quality coaches. Not only playing, but Rand at South Dearborn's done a good job, and he's been at Lawrenceburg, and they've turned their program around. So he's done a good job and been with people that have had some success where they've been at. So hopefully it's the goal is to move in that right direction and get things going back the right way.
If he was at Pike, he saw some of the big schools as well. So.
Yeah, you get a little different athlete when you get into the 6A school in Indianapolis and playing. So.
Yeah, I believe he was at Indianapolis Pike.
Correct.
Yes.
That was his first teaching job. So.
Yeah. What about a reserve team, freshman team? Do we have enough?
We won't have enough for freshmen. We're going to try to play reserve as much as we can, as long as we don't run out of quarters and injuries that prevent us from playing. So.
Okay, so on the reserve team, the JV team, some varsity play, are they back and forth? How does that work?
You're only allowed so many quarters a week, so if they get enough quarters in the varsity, they won't be slipping down to the JV. So. We'll just try to play our kids that you need to play at the varsity level, and then save those kids so they can get some quality time at the JV level, so that they can work on their experience and put them in positions that they need to learn how to play. So.
Has there been a youth program?
Yeah, they've had the Connersville Youth League, and I know it's up and running. I've seen signs, and I don't know how many kids have signed up. I know my grandson went back to soccer. He didn't want to play again this year, so he didn't like getting hit by the red striped helmet people, he said. So,
Sure.
But yeah, they've been doing advertisement for the Connersville Youth Football League. So.
Good. I thought it might be interesting to talk about the 8 other opponents that the Spartans have. They play 9 games, and of course Richmond will be number 1. on Friday night, we're assuming that as the Spartans will, a week from Friday, the Spartans will be at Franklin County, and the Wildcats are at home playing Newcastle this week. On September the 4th, the Spartans are at Greensburg, who open at Shelbyville. September 11th game, South Dearborn will be at Spartan Stadium. The Knights open Friday, hosting Seymour on September.
We'll see if that game gets to stay on Friday, depending on the lights. So.
Okay,
If they're not up yet,
so
we may be a Saturday afternoon game.
May not be lights yet at that point.
Just a matter of when we're on
Sure.
the schedule. It's just a matter of when it gets in and when they get us up.
Oh, we have to have Friday night lights. I mean, what is this?
It makes it a little bit easier in my life. But yes.
Okay, so that's a wait and see thing. September 18th game has Rushville at Connersville. The Lions Friday are home meeting Milan. September 25th, the Spartans travel to North Vernon, meeting Jennings County, who open this Friday with Covenant Christian. On Friday, October 2nd, East Central at Connersville. Lights again, I guess. This Friday, the Trojans are home to Lawrenceburg. That's going to be a battle in that those two are really rivals.
Yeah, they started playing each other. I think last year was the first year of the year before because they hadn't played each other for a while. So it's good to have them playing each other, and hopefully eventually we'll get us all playing everybody. I know that East Central's not playing Greensburg and/or Rushville this year, so hopefully in time we'll get them all back because they're in different divisions. And
Right.
I'm not a fan of the divisions, but I'm 1 vote out of 8, so don't have enough to get that swung.
It's
the other
better
way.
than not having a conference.
I agree. There's a lot in trying to struggle. I know what Pam went through trying to find opponents that could play us. That's in a conference season when we're not in a conference trying to get people to play us. So
I know we don't need to worry about East Central, but they play a couple of Ohio teams, and I'm wondering how their schedule is being affected.
well, I'm not sure how that's going to work, and I know that South Dearborn will play usually some Kentucky teams as well. And I think Ryan said at South Dearborn the bordering counties to the state have been okay to go travel and play because Kentucky was not allowed to travel outside the state limits.
I see.
They did include the bordering counties of the state, so because there's a lot of crossover there. So between not just football but soccer and other things that they play down there. So
And Ohio reduced their schedule from 10 to 6, I believe.
and they may only be playing inside their conference.
Right, so that may eliminate.
They may be looking for somebody to play.
East Central,
there's
yes,
somebody
yes.
comes up where they need an opponent, they could be calling on the phone all
Right.
week.
Right. On Friday, October the 9th, CHS plays at Lawrenceburg. October 16th, the Spartans end the regular season at Batesville, who is home to Indian Creek on Friday. So a lot of scheduling, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it's a fluid situation, so
Yes.
it's just week to week, and hopefully we don't have kids come down sick, and that causes us some other issues, not only just football, but every one of our sports. So you hate to shut it. I know Seymour's had their volleyball team shut down for a little while, and they're in our tournament come December or October, and hopefully or September, whichever date it is. Hopefully they'll be able to be healthy and be back at it. So and Pike's in there, and hopefully they'll be able to travel out, and we'll see. So it's just always a moving target, and we'll keep trying to stay a little bit ahead if we can.
Shaping up as a real challenging season coming up.
Yeah, but you hope for the kids that they get a chance to have those opportunities to compete. I mean, it's important for them, and it's important for us to get their parents in there to see them. I understand that there's a lot of Spartan fans out there that's going to be disappointed, but when you stop and think about it, it's for the kids and for them to experience it. And
Yes.
some schools they've even discussed just having essential personnel only, which is players, coaches, officials, and necessary people to run the scoreboard. And if the kids could play, that'd even be a great opportunity for them. It may not be the ideal situation, but they have the opportunity to play. But right now,
Right.
it doesn't have to go to that, but you never know if it could happen to go to that.
Hopefully, those schools will let the media in so that we can be the substitute for actually the fans and the parents and the families getting to see their kids. At least we can bring it to them in word.
Well, I
and,
think we can safely
and
get.
Fran can bring it to them in pictures. so.
Hopefully, we can safely get the people in our press box. Obviously, we'll have to probably be in mask, but I know we have one Richmond station that wants to come. Actually, we have two. I don't know if I can get them both in there, and with our radio station and then our TV station. And I think we can safely get those three inside there with our coaches up on top typically. Unless it starts pouring down rain, then that throws everybody into a
Yes.
monkey wrench. But John and I have talked a little bit about whether we'll possibly stream it live. I haven't pulled that trigger yet, but it's an unusual time, so those are things we're talking about for this, possibly this coming Saturday, for those people that can't get in. And we understand it's hard when you buy your tickets and then all of a sudden things have changed and we don't have unlimited capacity right now. So there's some things we could discuss. We've talked about putting it behind a paywall. We have the opportunity to do that through the IHSA's Champions Together program. Champions Network. And if it's all student produced, then it's free to the schools. But if it's not all student produced, then there's a affiliation fee that goes along with that. But then it's a $9.95 pay-per-view thing, and then we get part of that proceeds back from that company that we use their system to get it out on the network. So, but we'll see. John and I are going to talk a little bit when we're done here if we want to have an option to watch it live on Saturday through Channel 3. So we'll see.
We'll see.
He's been
Time will
bugging me for
tell.
a couple of years, but I still struggle pulling that trigger right now.
KMix will always have it live.
So it's always live on the radio station. So you can follow Sam and Dave. So.
These rules and regulations, did they come out of the IHSAA, or are they medical, or are they governor's office? Who created the 500 maximum?
Well, that's in the back to class plan or back to school plan. So it's in the 4.5 back to the playing thing for extracurriculars through the government, through the help to people and all those people that they put on those committees to talk about. So it's been a conglomeration of people listening to the medical field to make those decisions. So, and then IHSA just kind of chimes in when they get a chance to chime in.
Went along with the crowd, huh?
Hey, you can't go against what the governor's asking and what they're trying to get everybody back safely. So they don't ever put anything out there forefront. It's always after the fact, so we can kind of fit in line and follow what we need to get done correctly. So.
I know it's really early in the game, but what are you guys looking at winter sports? What might be happening? I suppose it depends on the virus if it goes away.
I think it depends on how many things come out. If I don't know there's going to be a vaccine by then. I don't know that the governor's going to lift the cap of unlimited capacity. So it gets a little bit different when you're inside. It's a little bit easier when you're outside. You can kind of space a little bit better. But, for the fall, really, we only have indoor volleyball. So we don't typically get 250 at a game, but you might now because somebody might want to get out and see. So we'll have to be really careful about how that goes. But I can't say what winter will look like yet. So, if there's still not unlimited seating, then there becomes issues in Spartan Bowl of how many can you put in there safely. Is it 50% capacity? And then what do you do? So there comes lots of things, those who have their all sport tickets and those who don't, and those who may want to scramble and try to get one if it comes down to those getting first dibs to get into the gym after the parents and the people of the players' families from both schools. So, and those will be things we'll have to step and cross the line over once we get there. So it's almost too far to think what could be happening 2 or 3 months from now.
Right now,
change 100 times between
fall
now and
sports
then.
is on our spotlight right now.
We're just hoping we can keep those moving forward and not get shut down before we get out of them. So don't have any idea that's going to happen, but I could wake up tomorrow and it could be totally changed. So
I wanted to ask about school's been in now. I guess this was the 4th day that the kids have been in class. It's been my experience over the years that kids are more resilient than the adults, and they tend to adapt to things. Do you see that in the classroom? I know you're not in the classroom, but from what you've talked to your colleagues.
I think from the teachers that I talk to and the coaches, it's just a little different atmosphere because you don't have the mingling in the hallways, and because they're all just trying to get to class because they all have to be masked up. So there's not that handout, stand around and social time like there typically is all the time. So it's a little different atmosphere just from the days I've been there. So time will tell what it'll stay if that way, if it'll get changed on how the kids see it with their mask and stuff on. So it's all up in there, but
everybody seems to be complying, and
everybody seemed, obviously our kids can go in the courtyard, so I won't say they all probably faithfully had their mask up all day long, but the ones I saw inside the school building, everybody had their mask up like they were supposed to, and pass along, but it's awful quiet. It's not the same as what you're used to hearing, the mingling and
the chatter and
and either it's because it's all muffled or just because they just don't, it's hard to talk through those things. And if you wear glasses, it even makes it more difficult.
I know.
And they fog over.
We
Tell us
don't
about
I only
it.
wear mine when I have to, so. But you know, I don't know. It'll be a different time for everybody. So hopefully the kids will be okay, and hopefully they'll adjust
Yes.
if we need to, and hopefully in time we won't have to wear these again. So
I can't wait till that time comes, but
I think there's a lot of us that way. So
the new athletic center is finished. It's been dedicated. I suppose it's in use.
yeah, volleyball's been using, and everybody else, you know, have had opportunities to go in and practice while we got practice started and workouts, and we've played our scrimmage game in there in volleyball the other night, and I think the girls are excited. It's a little cooler than in the old high school gym with no air, and this one's got air, and hopefully at one time we'll be able to open up to more people to come in to watch a match once we get past the indoor restrictions of 250 people or 50% capacity of our bleachers, which is about 440, so we can probably only get 220 in there for volleyball. So
It's a great addition to the facilities at the high school.
yeah, I think it's, you know, something our kids have to look forward to, where
Sure.
we've had tennis on rainy days in there playing indoors now when we didn't have those opportunities in the past. Coach Rubel's had the girls in there hitting off the mats with golf balls into the side of the batting cages, because the batting cages nets are small enough that you can hit golf balls into them. So people are taking advantage of the things. I know he's hit some softballs in the cages, and I know Michael will do the same things once we get basketball or baseball rolling. So volleyball's used all 3 courts at one time with the middle school kids coming out during workouts. We're able to set the 3 courts up, and so you got 30-some, 40-some kids in there playing volleyball. So that's a plus. So
Sure. Fall is the busiest schedule, isn't it? Sports schedule, aren't
as the most teams, there's
as
8 of them.
most events,
And then
yes.
10 if you count the cheerleaders, and then when you throw middle school in on top of that. So then it's just a busy time. So
Right. When you travel out of town, what's the protocol on the buses and so forth?
well, they're all supposed to sit in assigned seats. The coaches are supposed to have assigned seats. They'll have to wear their mask. Supposed to sit in the same seat on the way there as you do on the way back. So it's a little different than normal. So, you know, obviously our girls are at New Pal tonight. They fall under the same rule. You got to have a mask to go in, and they got the same limits that we have, unless their county health commissioner has allowed them to go higher, which Al said they have not. So they're capped at 250 inside the high school gym, which probably seats 25 to 3,000, and you can put 250 people in it. So,
Yes.
you think of our home football bleachers, we probably seat 2,000 plus in the home side easily, and we
Easy.
can put 250 in that set, and we can put 250 in the other set. So, and the other set probably seats over 1,000, maybe 1,500 if I'm guessing. So it's just a different time right now.
And you
So
had
that's
to
why
have
go ahead.
separate restroom facilities, right? For
Yeah,
each
so we'll
side,
try to
which
keep
we do.
we'll
But
try to keep the Richmond fans on that side, but you know, that's a hard sell sometimes. But they got opportunities for restrooms and concessions over there, and concessions will be limited. It's going to be drinks and candy bars and suckers, and we have some bagged caramel corn, but we're not popping anything live, and we're not selling hot dogs or popcorn right now, or nachos or
Sure.
pretzels.
Is
We may
there-
cross those things as we move further down the line, but
is there a change in management of the concessions?
the athletic department's in charge, so that's a new trying thing too, is trying to figure all that out, and then we're stuck in situations where you can't buy everything you want to have. So and then we're going to switch from Coke products to Pepsi products come September, so that'll be another change. So
There you go.
nothing stays the same. I think we've been Coke for as long as I can remember.
Long time.
So,
It was Pepsi when I was in school.
but you know, things change, offers change, and Pepsi's
Sure.
the contract they went with, and for 5 years, and we'll roll with it. So kids will love Mountain Dew and Diet Dew and Mountain Dew Kickstart. So if they got those, they'll be all excited. So
Quickly, what's the procedure for the fans that want to watch the Spartans in Richmond at Spartan Stadium?
well, you're going to have to come in with your mask on. So we're going to try to social distance you in the stands. We're going to try to put some marked areas for you to sit. You can sit with your family members, obviously, but you need to try to social distance your family members from anybody else's families. And obviously in our bleachers, there's plenty of space to spread out. So, but they will be required to have a mask to come in. So anybody that's going to get a voucher to come in, and if you don't have one of them vouchers, and like I said, they're going to go to the players and their families first, and all of our kids are going to be a part of the activities. And then if there's some left over, we'll try to sell to some of our high school kids to get in. And then as I think for the sports is for our kids, and that's what it's about, and those should come first. So I know not everybody's going to want to hear that, and I'm not going to make everybody happy, but
Sure.
we'll do the best we can to get as many in there as we can get in there.
Richmond at Connersville, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Brent, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here. Glad to be back.